Teenage is the biggest milestone of our lives. Whatever we are today, sorted, not sorted, confused about our careers, about relationships, everything has to do something with what the roots or what the base was as a teenage. Hi, everybody. My name is Shweta Kulkarni. I am a mindset coach. And in this video, we are going to talk about mostly, I would say, the most commonly faced problems by teenagers. And can they actually be resolved? But in this video, I am not alone. I have this another wonderful mindset coach with me, and she has been into education for more than 15 years. I would say a teenage specialist. With this, I just want to say welcome to Rooma. Hi, Rooma.
Hi, Shweta.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. So
thank you so much for having me here, first of all. And let me just introduce myself.
I was about to say that. Could you please share some things, about you?
Yes. So I'm an educator turned mindfulness and mindset coach. And now I'm on a mission to inspire and empower, these teenagers to discover and unleash their true potential, by using their mind power, and also by using the tools and techniques of mindfulness and integrating them into their daily life.
So true, because I think, as I said, this being the base, I think a lot of, so Rooma, also when I go back to my teenage, I think there were so many fears with us, right? So I always think about it that, so, I attended and, okay, hold on. Yes, okay. No, I was just thinking if my internet is okay. Looks good. Can you still hear me? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So one of the schools, and then the activity was the teachers asked me that, what was your biggest fear at the teenage? And I think I always wanted to be as amazing as all the other people around me. Right? So what is it? Is it with everybody or with the teenage? Because I just have one, teenage daughter right now. And could you please tell us about this teenage and the problems, or it could be just like a part of their, I would say the growing process. So could you just put some light on that, Rooma?
Yes, Shweta. To begin with, I would say, teenager phase, the adolescent phase is the most crucial phase of any child's life.
True.
Now, at this stage, they are very confused. Now, why I'm saying so is because they have this deep desire to be independent, and at the same time, they want to be a kid, right? And that leads to a lot of confusion in them. And to add to that confusion, we as parents, I have two grown-up boys who have, moved this stage and, crossed this stage of being a teenager. So, as parents, we also give that kind of contradiction to them because, at times we tell them, why are you doing certain things? You are still a kid, right? आप अभी बच्चे हो, why are you doing it, right? And on the other hand, we expect them to do certain things and tell them अब आप बड़े हो गए हो, right? So we're using two contradictions. So they are very confused that whether they are still, children or a child, or whether they've grown up. So that kind of contradiction stays with them.
So true. And you know what, I can so much relate to this, Rooma, because you're right. In fact, yesterday I was just talking to my girl, and then her birthday she just became 16. So I told her that, what, you promised me that after birthday, you're going to take a list of responsibilities. And at the same time, I still want to go to her bed in the night and I just want to tuck her in. Just so right, because I want her to take responsibilities, but at the same time, conveniently, I would say as a parent, I would say, you're my bacha, you're my baby. So, and I guess because of this, also what we all, as not only teenagers, but being into mindfulness coaches for teens also, what we have been seeing is anger is the strongest emotion that comes out. So it just could be when they're showing it, it could be less gratitude, being less humble. The most of the time, less appreciation by them also. Because I think as parents, we keep giving, even other parents, they keep giving. And sometimes we think there is no return, not by appreciation, not by showing happiness. So what I see is the anger is the biggest strong emotion. And I'm sure this emotion comes from within. There might be a lot of sadness, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. And I think I also see, I think we all can relate to this. I think even adults, we go through this FOMO, this is fear of missing out. And I
Yes.
and what I see is anger is just outcome of what's going on within, right? And as you said, it's a lot of confusion. As you said, they don't know what to do, because yes, so right, so convenient, right, for parents that, you're a big kid now, do this. Oh, you know what, you cannot do this because you're a small kid, don't go alone anywhere, and that stuff and all. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for putting light. And I think I also believe that we parents are doing enough. I'm sure as a parent, you have done everything. As a parent, I'm still doing everything for my kid. And so many other parents will say, yes, we are doing everything. I was also thinking of this scenario when sometimes parents react to the kids. For example, parents are coming from an office, everything after COVID has been changing. Also, I think struggle what kids are going through is the social life. 2 years they were packed inside the home, and everything was family is everything, that kind of stuff. And now suddenly they have to step out. So when these kids go out and they are coming back home, they have a different energy that they are carrying with them. Now that energy could be comparison with other kids, what other kids are having better. And there's such a lot of things, because influences, I think even adults, we get influences, but teenage is such, as I said, the milestone, it is such a delicate thing, because confusing, as you said, they don't know what to do. These influences become more stronger on them, right?
Yes, I totally agree with you, Shweta, on this. To address the first thing, about anger, yes, I can totally relate to it, because being in education field, most of the times parents would come to me and they would talk about, that now the child has started, answering back, right? And there's a lot of anger in the child, right? So I would say, because of a lot of physical and hormonal changes happening in them,
Mm,
mood swings in teenagers is normal, right? Now
mm,
if these mood swings, at times they are at joyous high, and at times you will find them at extreme lows, right? So they are oscillating between this high and low, right?
true.
But if these episodes of mood swings and expressing that anger or unpleasantness or disappointment is happening sometimes at times, and then it's normal, perfectly normal. But if these emotional outbursts and these exaggerated reactions to
Outburst
small
is such
issues
a wonderful word. Yeah.
are happening very frequently and on regular basis, then I think that needs to be addressed, because that could be an early sign of depression. As you said, it's coming from some sadness, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that could be an early sign of depression, which needs to be addressed at the earliest. And
Absolutely.
talking about coming to the second point, as you said, parents
Mm.
come out because at this age these teenagers want to be heard. They want attention, right? They want somebody to speak to. So
Mm.
there could be a possibility that there is a lack of communication where they're not able to express what's going on in between inside
Mm.
them, right?
Mm.
So that could be one of the issues. So I think that's a very valid point you have taken up. The anger, the answering back, which we as parents, it's very difficult for us to take in when it happens, because
Ah,
till now they'd been obeying us, doing everything our way, right?
they're
But
all good
now
with
they want
us.
their way.
Yes. Yeah.
Now they want their way.
As if my kid loves me less. No, it's true. It's not. And then if the kid says, no, I still love you, mom and dad. Oh, you know what? You're not expressing enough. So suddenly that responsibility, that conveniently the
Yeah.
parent says you're a grown up now. So it's
Yeah.
so right, because I believe the schools, the colleges, the parents, everybody is doing enough. And I think the only goal where everything or everybody wants the kids or any kid to go is that boom, or just I would say grow in your careers, or everything whatever you're doing right now, do it rightly, right? And I think with all this, so many things happening around, I guess it is affecting their studies also. And recently what I have also been hearing about is kids are getting into drugs. Maybe it could be like e-cigarettes have been such a common word, and kind of scares me, Roma, because this
It
age where
does. It does.
It does. And then, I've also heard some kids start drinking at early age. Drinking hard drinks at early age is also not very healthy, because that's the reason we have it at the age of, 18 plus. So I think they don't even realize what this other, as you said, there's sadness within, the depression, maybe getting into the first stage of depression, not hearing themselves, not enough communication. So they find different energy to just, get them that kick that they are fine, and they don't want to handle all that stuff, right? And it
Yes.
scares me so much.
Yes, I think most of the parents are dealing with this kind of, these questions coming in their mind and these kind of issues. So here, two things I think we need to address. The first one you said was the career choices, right? The academics, right?
Yeah.
So here I would say, they have to deal, with academic performance, right? So parents have certain expectation, right? Every parent has, and it's not wrong, right? So here children are dealing with parental expectation. Now the reason being that, right now there's so much of competition, cutthroat competition in everything. And as parents, we want best for our children. But if you see the life of a teenager, if you visualize, right, you will see, they have their school. After that, they're going for their coaching classes, followed by their extracurricular activity. One day there is guitar, another day there's art, then sports. So multiple activities. So where is the room for rest and recreation, right? So all these things,
they don't get any time for that.
they don't get time for themselves to do some kind of reflection, right? And over and above that, the expectations, all this is leading to nothing but, anxiety and stress.
Yeah.
Now, when they are anxious and when they are stressed, there's something happening here. Now, what's happening here is our emotional brain is more active, because there are emotions rising. There is stress, there is anxiety. Because of that, our emotional brain is very active. And when our emotional brain is active, right, our intelligence goes down. That means our prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for, the decision making, the evaluation, the analysis of certain things, that shuts down. Now, if that shuts down, automatically it impacts our performance, our academic performance. So that's a vicious circle. It's a vicious circle.
Yeah.
And second thing, I think you mentioned about e-cigarettes, right? The influences of there, I would say it is more of peer pressure, because again, this attention-seeking economy, children are wanting to fit in. They want to fit in.
True.
And they are so influenced at this age. Friends are more important than a family. You would agree to
I'm
this,
sure
right?
every parent will agree with that. Yeah.
Everybody. So for them, whatever their friends are doing, right, their validation is very important. So even if they don't like it, they do certain things just to fit in.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, they feel left out, right? At times it's a status symbol, right? So here we are talking about, dealing with peer pressure, at the same time parental expectation. So these are the two things I think
True.
which really impacts their physical and their emotional and mental well-being.
So true. Now that when you're talking about, something just came to my mind is when you're talking about physical, I think body image is so important to them, so I think social media also acts like, I would say, a filler or a influencer. But I think body image, as you also mentioned about hormonal changes, yes, we start becoming more conscious of our bodies. Yes, there is a lot of, I would say, chemical things going on inside their body in that growth. But I think body image is something that is also I think it's one of the most important concern for a teenager. It matters a lot how my body looks. Am I looking, I think something that I've heard is you need to be skinny, you need to be thin, and then only you just look like a girl, or you need to fit in any clothes, or maybe like the zero figure. If I'm going to my times, it's all about the zero figure, what Kareena Kapoor had. So that kind of stuff. I think about boys is all about how stout, how, I would say, macho, or how manly he looks. I think, could you share, like, what is this about body image, what these teenagers go through? Any experiences while you've been into education with them?
Definitely, body image is very important to them, because, at this age, along with, those emotional changes, the hormonal changes happening, as you said, physical changes are happening, right?
Mm.
And they have, these pimples, acne, and then we have these stereotypes, right? They become very conscious about their body. Children become very conscious about their body. And they girls, as we say, there are stereotypes. Girls need to be, thin, as you said, they should be fair, with tall with long hair, I'm sorry. And boys, they want to be tall, macho, as you said. Now, in case they are not, then they start judging themselves. They are not able to accept themselves as they are.
Yeah.
And because of that, they succumb to, I would say, body shaming, because their own confidence about body image is not there, right? For them, presenting themselves, in front of others, looking a certain, way is very important. At the same time, how others perceive them, how they look, that is also very important. That is the reason, that they look for this external validation. When they are on social media, you mentioned social media, right?
Yeah.
Then if somebody, has passed some nasty remark on them, it negatively impacts their psyche, their emotions, their mental well-being, in a negative way, right? So that is very important to them. And as you said, being thin,
I know.
then, these girls, because they want to look thin, they go on these, fashionable and unhealthy diets.
I know.
Boys,
No
they want to
eating.
look
I think no eating is
macho.
something they understand that, I might need
Kind
to
of
just.
eating disorders, right? They
Yeah.
follow, and they starve themselves, right? And they starve themselves of all the proper nutrients, right, which they need to take. Boys, they're taking those hormonal supplements to build up those, macho muscles, right? And all this is, again, it's a vicious circle. It's impacting their physical health, right, in the long run.
True.
So also, I would like to add here, because you talked about social media, right? There's some cyberbullying, again, is playing, a very important contributing factor in impacting their mental and emotional well-being, because these teenagers, they keep looking for, how many likes I've got, and in case they haven't got, they compare themselves with others. The constant comparison is happening. True. Which is, again, very unhealthy.
Absolutely. Oh my God, this, as I mentioned, yes, it's a milestone, absolutely. And I think this is the age where actually creates them how they are going to become. So I think in mindset coaching, we also talk about how we build up our values and beliefs about things. I think this is the age where you actually start changing and you start thinking different than your parents. And I think whatever externally or whatever within, they get it. That is going to be the base of their values and principles and beliefs that they're going to create. And this is going to help them in their careers, because I think life is all about becoming independent. And I think humans are the last people. I would say the grown people in humans don't become independent yet. Animals are, easier game, I guess. But ultimate aim is to become on your own, to be independent, to make your own decisions. And even though you do your mistakes, that's okay. Take them as a lesson and go ahead and keep boosting your self-esteem and your self-confidence, right? I think this is an age where it's all about what you will be or what you will become in the future, right?
I totally second that, Shweta. Yeah. I totally second that, because, if your emotional quotient is taken care of, your life is sorted, right? IQ can be taken care of, skills can be taken care of, but if you're emotionally not strong, then your life, becomes a mess, right? So here I would just like to, conclude my statement by saying, the teenager age, the adolescent, I would compare them to a person who's standing at the edge of a cliff, right? So a slight nudge in the wrong direction, right, can, just push the teenager down the cliff. On the other hand, a helping hand can actually, pull the teenager back to the safety. And here, when I'm saying helping hand, I think mindfulness is that helping hand, which can help all our teenagers, to take control of their life, to take charge, of their life, and to be in that, safety zone and make decisions for themselves.
Absolutely, Rooma. So well said, because I was talking to a bunch of teachers and counselors at different schools. They also say the same thing, that mindfulness is helping them in so many amazing and fruitful ways, but still they will never accept that, right? And I guess the only answer to all these commonly, I would think, whatever common issues they all are facing, it's normal, because I'm sure there will be millions of teenager moms and dads who will be watching this. They'll say, yes, how do you guys know what's exactly going on in our house? But right,
Yes.
I think you can relate to, going some years back with your boys. I can relate to what exactly is happening right now. And I guess the only answer is mindfulness for teens.
Yes, Shweta.